Stitches here. Welcome to my channel where together we sew. If you're brand new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and ring the bell for notifications so you'll know when I post videos like this one or when I go live. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. I love seeing all of you here and your comments down below. So today's tutorial is based on a comment from one of you. One of you asked me to do a tutorial on the Triangillow pillow. This is a pattern that Sew Yeah has been selling a lot on their channel. So a lot of you may have this pattern already. This pattern is from purplepineapplestudio.com. So if you're interested in making this, you'll have to go grab the pattern if you don't have it. I'm going to show you how to sew it, but I'm not going to give you any of the sizes because this is not my pattern, so I can't share that. But I'm happy to show you how to put this together. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is take the long skinny piece that's intended to make the strap for the pillow, and you're going to want to make it like a bias binding type situation where you're going to fold it in, or fold it in half, iron it, and then open it back up and fold your sides into that crease that you pressed, and then fold it in on itself again so there's no raw edges. Okay, let me see if I can show you that again. So here you'll have your strapping piece. You're going to fold it in half first, just like a binding if you're a quilter. You're going to iron that, and then you're going to open that back up, and you're going to bring those raw edges from each side in towards the center where you just iron the crease, and iron those, and then put that back together, or put it together, fold it over again, and you'll have a skinny piece. Now all the raw edges are going to be tucked inside there, and then you're going to want to top stitch down each side of this strap. I would do the open side first, of course, probably about 1/8 of an inch over. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to stitch that down. That's one side. I'm going to turn it and go down the other side. And you don't need to close the ends on these. It doesn't say to, and I'm suspecting we don't need to because the way we're going to attach it to the bag, those raw ends we're just going to end up probably trimming off. Okay, so now I've got my strap made and I've stitched on either side, and let's see, instructions inside. So for the strap, it says form a loop with the handle and pin it to one of the panels. So what I'm going to do is anytime they say form a loop, they never say to stitch it together, but I'm going to, because I feel like when you're attaching this to the bag, so these straps don't slightly move and get off, I feel like it's easier if you go ahead and stitch this near the top together so the straps stay exactly where you want them. So I'm going to go ahead, and you don't have to do this if you don't want to because it's not in the pattern, but I'm going to go ahead and just make a straight stitch right across, right near the ends, just to hold the straps together and to make that curved strap that you're going to want on your pillow. And make sure if you do decide to sew it that your strap is all, you know, going the correct direction and it's not twisted, because once you've sewn it, you'll have to rip it back out if it's twisted. I just think that this step, it's a quick, easy step, and it makes it easier to attach your handle later on. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside for now, and we're gonna grab our batting, and they suggested that you cut the batting the same size as the pieces for the 3 sides. Again, I'm going to do this a little bit differently than they do. I just prefer to cut my batting a little bit bigger, and I always have scrap pieces of batting since I'm a long arm quilter. And so I've got these pieces, so I have it just a little bit bigger. And if you have a fusible fleece, you can use fusible fleece. If you don't, which I don't, I'm going to use regular batting, and I'm going to use my 505 basting spray to stick the 2 pieces together. Now, if you don't have basting spray and you don't have fusible fleece, the other thing you can do is use Elmer's glue. You will have to probably wash your pillow when it's done so it's not stiff, but Elmer's glue will work too. So I'm going to get my 505 and I'm going to spray base this. I'm almost out. Well, that might not be good. Let's see how well this is going to stick. I'm almost out of spray based. I might be using Elmer's glue. Okay. I am going to put just a touch of Elmer's glue on the edges because I was just about out of basting spray, so it's not going to stick real well. But this pillow will probably get washed quite often in my household with 3 boys because I'm making this for my little guy for Christmas, because my second to littlest, because he likes ocean animals. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to take my iron and just make sure that glue is dry. Okay. Now I've already sprayed based the other 2 pieces. You'll do 3 pieces just like this, and then if you did your batting the exact same size, you can skip this step, but I am going to just take a ruler and a rotary cutter and trim off this excess. Trim off the ends first and then the lengths. Just find that a little bit easier. Turn that around. Okay, there we go, all trimmed. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to, you can probably put your rotary cutter away at this point. I don't think we need it anymore. But you're going to want to grab some pins, and you guys know I'm not a pinner, but we do need pins for this part. And on the shorter edge, all the shorter edges, you're going to want to put a pin right in the center. So your, whatever that measurement is on the edges, whether it's 10 inches, 8 inches, 6 inches, you're going to want to put one right in the middle. So if it's 10 inches, it's going to be 5. If it's 8 inches, it's going to be 4, so on and so forth. So 1, 2, 3, okay. You're going to want to mark the center with a pin and just leave it in there. And I'll do the same thing for both sides. Okay, I'm going to move that guy aside. And then on two of your sides, in addition to the pins on the end, you're going to want to find, and you can put pins here if you like. I actually used my friction pen. You're going to want to mark a 5-inch section on two of your sides. So I marked it on this section and I marked it on this piece here. But you're going to want to mark a 5-inch section, and you're going to fold this over to 3/8 of an inch, which I also marked with my friction pen just so I can see where I'm sewing. And we're going to stitch this down just in that 5-inch section, 1/4 of an inch. And we're going to do that on two pieces, not the third piece. So I'm going to do that now. I'm actually going to grab a couple more pins to help hold it where I want it. I need some new pins. Some of my pins are bent. Okay. So I'm going to fold this over. I marked my 3/8 inch with my friction pen. I already measured it with my ruler. And if you put the pins in here, you just want to sew from pin to pin and stop. And back stitch. This is going to make the opening where we stuff the pillow, it's going to give it a finished seam here. Because we're going to sew these pieces together, but we're going to leave the opening where we folded these pieces over. And that way it'll have a nice finished seam. Get this glue out of the way. And I'm going to go to the sewing machine and sew this. And you're sewing this 1/4 of an inch seam. And it would help if your needle is threaded. Technical difficulty. I'm good that fixed quick. Okay, needle threaded. Now we can sew. Okay, that's the first one. So you're gonna have a piece that looks something like this. It'll look kind of funny with these still sticking up, but that way you've got this closed seam for, or nicely finished seam for when after we stuff it. Okay, I'm gonna put this piece out of the way. I'm gonna do the same thing with this piece. Again, I'm going to put my pin right in that 5-inch mark that I made with my friction pen, so I know where to start and stop. And sew 1/4 inch. There we go. Okay, there's the next piece. Okay, so we've got two pieces that look like this with the side seam sewn down a little bit. Put these pins away. Okay. Now the next step is we are going to sew all of our panels together. So leaving the pins in the ends, now we're going to start sewing our panels together. And we're going to sew these with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I am going to back stitch at the end just to make sure it stays where I want it to. I'm going to put these two together. Now make sure when you add the panels that you did that little finishing touch to, when you put those together, make sure you stop at that opening. So sew right up to that opening. So we're going to sew this side and then we're going to stop and then we're going to sew this side. So this one's a little bit trickier to sew, but you can do it. If I can make a pillow, you guys can make a pillow. Gets trickier when you get closer to that opening. Okay. I'm going to turn around and do the other side. Again, I'm backstitching at all these seam ends and sewing a 1/4 inch still. Okay, so I've got those together. So you should have this opening still. See that there? Okay. Now I'm going to put this last piece on top and we're going to sew this side. Okay, so now you should have something that looks like this. Should look like a tube and have the hole for stuffing. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, this is going to be the trickier part. We are going to, first of all, put this loop inside. And I'm going to, not sure what the directions say about this, but I'm going to make sure these little raw edges stick out just a little bit so that when I sew this, I can just trim those away and then everything inside the bag will be finished. Now make sure your loop is inside the bag. Make sure it's not out here or you're not going to have a loop for or a handle for your pillow. All right. Now what we want to do is bring these centers all together right where you pinned, and we pinned it so we knew where the centers were. This is going to be the tricky part, is manipulating all these to stay together. So I'm going to do this very slowly. It's going to get very thick. Okay. Now we're gonna sew each of these sides in till we get to the center. So this may be a little bit of a slow process, but as you can see, I've connected it all in the center there with the pins. We're gonna go right to the center. This, I think, is gonna be the trickiest part. Again, I'm gonna backstitch. And as I get closer to the center, I'm probably gonna go kind of slow to make sure I sort of catch everything. And I want to make sure I'm not killing my machine with these pins, because I've got pins all in this. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. So I stopped when I got to the center of this strap. And now I'm going to do, so I've got one section done here. You can see with the thread. I'm going to do the next section. So I'm just going to turn it and do the next section. Okay, so that is 2 of the sections. Now I've got 2 of the sections sewn, and I'm going to sew the 3rd section. Alrighty then. So now I've got all 3 sections together. Alright, looks like a triangle to me. I'm going to grab my snips and I'm going to snip this extra of the bag strap off right now. There we go. All right, now for the other side, we're going to do the same thing. So I've got to fix those pins up. Bring them together in the center just like we did with that. And this one I don't have a strap on this side to also pin in place. So I think I can probably remove all but one of the pins once I get everything lined up. Or maybe at least I can remove one pin to begin with, and then maybe the second one after I get part of it sewn. Okay. Now I'm going to sew just like I just did, one side at a time. To the middle. Watching out for those pins. Okay. So I'm going to do the other side. I'm going to flip this over. Again, back stitching and watching out for the pins. I'm just stitching until I get where the 2 sides that I've already, the side that I already sewn and this side joins in the center, and then back stitching over that. So now the 3rd side. And it will be thick once you get to that last one. Okay. So, again, I've got a 3-sided critter right there, so I must have done something right. All right, so now they do recommend clipping your corners for less bulk for when you turn this. So let me see if I can actually find my scissors that cut just a little bit better. Or you could probably rotary cut this too. These ones are kind of getting dull, these scissors. Oh, there's the good ones. Okay, let me try these ones. Oh yeah, much better. So I'm just going to cut them at an angle, but without cutting through the threads that where you backstitched. I don't think I did all 3 over here. Yep, there we go, one more. Okay, so there's that. Now hopefully when I turn this, you're going to turn it out through the hole. It's going to look somewhat like a triangle if I did it right. Now this is my first try, so I'm doing this along with you guys. There's my strap. See, it's attached. And the hole's big enough that you can stick your whole hand in there, so that's kind of nice. And if you have something to poke out your corners, like a purple thing or a point turner, probably be a good idea. Let's see if I can find one here in a minute. It's funny that I have several purple things, but then when I go to find them to use them, I can't find them. Okay, so it's starting to look like a triangle pillow. All right, so I'm gonna go get some stuffing and I'm gonna try to find a purple thing to poke out these corners. So I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so I've poked out my corners really, really well. And now I'm gonna stuff it with polyfill. Now, I am skipping one step. So if you guys want to stick to the pattern, you should do this. But the pattern says to top stitch a 1/4 inch around all of these edges. I'm not going to do that because this is for my son who is autistic and he has sensory issues. So I'm afraid that the top stitching, because it'll be a little bit rougher than just the fabric, that it might bother him. So I'm not going to top stitch this. I'm only going to stitch it shut where this opening is. So that's what I'm doing. But definitely, you know, if you want to top stitch it, follow the pattern. So, all right, now I'm going to start stuffing this. This is going to be perfect for him in the car because he falls asleep a lot in the car. And I always hate his little head like going to the side. You guys have kids that do that? Okay. And it says in the pattern, stuff generously, and that's what I'm going to do. Because I have a feeling he loves sea animals, and I have a feeling he's going to use this a lot, and it's going to get flat if I don't stuff it pretty full. I'm just using polyfill. I could see making one of those pillows with the rice in it that you could put in the microwave with this for like a heated neck pillow. But if you do that, make sure you use 100% cotton fabric, 100% cotton thread, and 100% cotton batting with no scrim. It needs to be, everything needs to be 100% cotton so you don't catch something on fire. Because if there's any polyester in it at all, it will catch on fire. And then you could put rice in here instead of stuffing and have a heated pillow. Wow. I have polyfill all over me. This is going to be really, really cute. And I'm really excited because this went together really fast. I think by the time the video is done, it'll be what, about a half an hour? So that's pretty cool. Means you can make a bunch of these really fast if you need like a last minute Christmas gift or something, or for somebody who's traveling last minute unexpectedly and they want a travel pillow. Yeah, this would be a nice gift to give to somebody that is recovering from a surgery or something in the hospital. I think it's a nice little cozy thing. See, it's looking more like a pillow. This is awesome. I'm very excited. I think I'm going to stuff it just a little more. I've made book pillows for my kids in the past where you make the slot on the outside of the pillow, and they lay on them and they flatten them pretty quickly. So I want to stuff this guy pretty full for him because I think he'll probably flatten it. And I'm going to have to clean up all the polyfill that's sticking to the outside. Oh. Trying to fill in all those corners, these triangles, really, really well. Oh, guys, I'm loving this. Look how cute. Very nice. Thank you to who, I can't remember who it was, so I'm sorry about that, but thank you to the person who asked me to do a tutorial on this, because I bought this pattern and I've had it from Soya, and with the fat quarters that I'm using, and I've had it sitting here thinking about doing it for my son for Christmas. And since you asked me to do the tutorial, it sort of prompted me to work on it, and now I'll have his little gift done. Else I might not have gotten his gift done in time. Okay, it's pretty, mine's pretty darn full, but like I said, I know that eventually he's gonna squish it. You might not want yours that full, but see the little ocean animals on that side? He's gonna love it. All right, so what I'm gonna do at the top here is I'm gonna use Wonder Clips to clip this shut, and then I'm gonna top stitch it right on that stitching line that we sort of already made when we folded those in. Trying to get all this stuff off the pillow and into the pillow. This is really cute. All right, let me grab some Wonder Clips. I'm definitely gonna have to take a lint roller to this before I can give it to him, but I'm loving it. And I need a lint roller for my shirt because it's all over my shirt too. I always have thread all over my shirt, but I usually don't have polyfill all over me. Okay. All right. Put the extra polyfill down. Put these Wonder Clips away. Reach on over here to the machine. And I'm going to stitch, like I said, about a 1/4 inch. I'm going to aim for the stitches that are already there that we used when we sewed the flaps over. Now, this is going to be interesting because it is so fat. I made this guy real thick. You probably could hand sew this shut. That might be easier than squishing it under the sewing machine. But y'all know I'm not a hand sewer, so I'm going to try to make this work. got it under the needle. That's the hardest part. Going kind of slow because I'm trying to see and make sure I get on the stitches that I've already made. And if I don't, that's okay because my son won't care. Okay. There we go. I got it shut. Awesome. And I didn't have to hand stitch it. Even better. So there is my Triangillow. I think that's how you pronounce it. So if you are interested in this pattern, like I said, I know Zoe has been selling it on their channel. They bought a ton of them because it's been selling out like crazy. You can also check out their Purple Pineapple Studio, who produces this pattern. I don't know because I haven't checked if they sell it on their website, like as a PDF or something, but you might want to go over there and check. But I am super happy with how this came out. Hang on and I'll move the camera and I'll give you guys a better view of it. Here's my Triangillow. It's so cute. I really did overstuff it. It's very, very full. My son is going to love it. This is going to be his Christmas present from Mama because he loves ocean animals. Look at those cute little ocean animals on this side. The turtles and the whale and the jellyfish and the seahorses. Very nice. And then it's got a handle so you can carry it along with you. So when he goes out to the car, he can carry it into the car with him or whatever. So just gotta get all this polyfill off. But really, really cute. If I wasn't doing a tutorial, this probably would have took about 20-25 minutes. So they go together really fast. I mean, I can see after doing this one, whipping up a bunch of these really quick for gifts. So I love it. I hope this tutorial helped you, especially to the person who asked me. And again, the pattern is Triangillow, and that is from purplepineapplestudio.com. So there it is. Okay guys, thanks for watching and hopefully sewing along. See you later. Bye.